Christos FC shocks DC United in the US Open Cup. Canada's own Freddy Adu. Seriously, this will never get old. 2 Real Madrid players in court, the manager who was fired with a poem, and Howler gives you the soccer ball phone. It's Wednesday, March 15th, 2017 from the Total Soccer Show, Dirty Tackle, and Howler Magazine. This is The Goalmouth. I'm George Qureshi, and let's begin with Christos FC, the amateur team from Maryland that everyone is talking about in this year's US Open Cup because, as the headlines tell us, they are affiliated with a liquor store and they never train. And maybe that's why they lost 4-1 last night against DC United in the 4th round of the world's 3rd longest running cup competition. So yeah, they lost, but not before taking the lead on a sweet free kick that sent their fans standing on the berm behind the goal absolutely bonkers. It's a fun watch. I recommend it. Let's look northward now, up to Canada. Canada saw Pulisic, Canada saw Mbappe, and Canada said, we need a very young teenager playing for the national team. And so last night, in a friendly against Curacao, Alphonso Davies of the Vancouver Whitecaps became, at 16 years old, the youngest player ever to kick a ball for the Canadian men's national team. Davies was born in Ghana, and he came to live in Canada from Liberia, and he entered the game in the 53rd minute, and in the 86th minute, he drew a penalty kick that Junior Hoylett failed to score. Good job, Alfonso. Next up, 2 stories involving Real Madrid stars and the law. First, as Brooks noted in his first post on the brand new whatahowler.com. Seriously, we just unveiled it yesterday. Brand new website, whatahowler.com. Go check it out. Cristiano Ronaldo's rivalry with Leo Messi cannot be contained by the 4 white lines of the soccer field. Oh no. Having just caught up with Messi's 4 Champions League titles, Ronaldo is now taking this fight into new realms. First, he becomes the father of twins, as Ryan told you yesterday, giving him 3 children to Messi's 2. And I'll add that they all 3 have American affiliations, so we might see 3 Ronaldo offspring playing for the U.S. national team in the future, women and men. That would be amazing. Then he's like, hey, I see you with your tax bill, unpaid tax bill, Lionel Messi. He gets charged with evading 14.8 million euros in taxes, which makes Messi's unpaid tax bill of 10.7 million euros look like just a tiny little Leo-sized pile of money that, unlike Cristiano's stack of cash, needs a constant drip of growth hormone just to compete. Luka Modric was the other Madrid player in the news yesterday because he testified in the case of Zdravko Mamic, who until 2016 was president of Dinamo Zagreb and is now suspected of bribery, embezzlement, tax evasion. You get the picture, like just sort of a whole bunch of stuff. He's on trial with 4 other people, including his brother Zoran Mamic, who used to be the manager of Dinamo Zagreb, as well as a former club director and tax inspector. Sorry, maybe that's 3 other people. It's a little confusing. So I won't get into all the details of the case, but I'll mention 2 things that emerged from Modric's testimony. First, he said that Tottenham Hotspur paid Zagreb about 21 million euros to sign him back in 2008. He had an official deal with the club by which he would get to keep half of his transfer fee. That's a good deal. But he also had a secret deal with Mamic to give Mamic most of his half of the transfer fee. So Modric, not Mamic here, Modric ended up with roughly 9 million euros from the deal. And he gave 7 million of those euros secretly back to Mamic. The second interesting fact is that other than this testimony, Modric seems to have pretty much forgotten every other fact relating to his involvement with the club and the Mamics, which is interesting because he used to have a much firmer recollection about all this stuff. So this led me to Reddit, where I found a very long and sometimes confusing post by someone who seems to be able to speak Croatian, so they can see some sources that I couldn't really access. And it seems to know a lot about this story. And this Redditor basically says that Mamic is the most powerful man in Croatian soccer, and he has links to organized crime. So while it's a little disappointing that Modric came down with a severe case of amnesia, it probably shouldn't be all that surprising. Don't know how much of that is true. Maybe my friend Keith Rados can fill me in when I go play Cinco Soccer Wednesday night. He's Croatian, but you can check it out for yourself in the newsletter, and the link to sign up for that, say it with me, is in today's show notes. 2 final things. Sven-Goran Eriksson, remember him, has been coaching Shenzhen in the Chinese 2nd division, but he was let go this week, and the club announced the signing of the new coach, who is a former club player, a striker named Wang Baoshan. They announced his signing with a poem. It's a very bad poem, and I will read it for you now. 11 years ago, you led Shenzhen football and never let us down. 9 years ago, you took over responsibilities and saved Shenzhen football. Memories of fighting together have never gone away, and now we recall the legend. For Shenzhen, we are reunited, starting a new trip together. Coach Wang, welcome home. Funny thing is, the club had not announced the firing of Eriksson, which means he was laid off with a poem that wasn't even about him. That's cold. And finally, this is self-serving, but I don't care. Yesterday, Howler released a parody video of those old Sports Illustrated football phone commercials from the 80s and 90s, only with a soccer phone, because Howler's a soccer magazine. And it has a crazy cast of very funny people, including Sarah Silverman, Jack Black, Will Arnett, Alexi Lawless, who has one of my favorite lines, and Adam Pally and Guillermo from The Kimmel Show. So go watch it on our Facebook page, which is at facebook.com/whatahowler.
Right? How much is this going to cost me?
What if I told you it's free?
The phone? Free?
The soccer ball phone?
Free sounds like what it should be.
My name is George Qureshi. I believe Daryl Grove will be with you tomorrow morning. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, where you can click out to all the stories I've mentioned on this podcast. The link to sign up is in the show notes. And I leave you with today's Goalmouth top tip. Roses are red, violets are blue. And if you ever stop listening to the Goalmouth, do not, I repeat, do not write us a poem about it.